Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is The Way. A lot of you spotted Sam Witwer's name during the Ahsoka Episode 1 and Episode 2 credits, and there have been a ton of theories about who he's actually playing. Like, what is that secret cameo? Because of me posting this video, he hasn't said anything publicly about it, and usually he does that. Right after his Andor cameo aired, he was posting all about it.
Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the dark side.
Since then, I've rewatched Ahsoka Episode 1 and Episode 2. I think we figured out who he is. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I'm doing videos for all the Ahsoka episodes every week. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. And if you haven't seen my Episode 1 or Episode 2 video, I'll link those below in the description at the end of this. We're still in the middle of that Echo Dot Star Wars giveaway. I'll just keep that going until I run out of all the extra ones that they sent me, and then we'll switch the giveaway to something else every week. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and just post all your Sam Witwer theories in the comments. Careful for spoilers for Episode 1 and Episode 2 if you haven't seen them yet, but during the credits for the first 2 episodes, you see Sam Witwer and a couple other familiar people that show up as additional voices. Zoom in and hands here, Matthew Wood is a good example. He's one of the Lucasfilm sound editors that's been working at Skywalker Sound for years. He's done background voices and smaller characters on pretty much all the Star Wars series in the movies since the prequels.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Like, he was the voice of General Grievous during Revenge of the Sith. He did the battle droids voices during the Clone Wars. So, like, he's all over the place as lesser characters in voices that don't necessarily have a ton of speaking lines. The same is true for everyone here under additional voices. In Hollywood productions, movies, TV shows like this, the credit usually means the voice that they're doing isn't for a character that has an actual name, but they have some kind of background, lesser speaking part that they need for scenes. Now, if someone plays a character that has a speaking part and they appear visibly on screen in a slightly bigger way, or their character has a name, usually they get put in the main part of the credits here like this. That's usually when the part is way bigger. Now, Sam Witwer is mostly known as the voice of Darth Maul during Clone Wars. He also came back as the voice of Darth Maul during Rebels. He also came back during Solo: A Star Wars Story for live-action Maul, but they did the hybrid where they had Ray Park come back as the physical performance, and he just did the voiceover. Kind of like a James Earl Jones Darth Vader situation.
Play with the attitude you have. I like the attitude of it all.
Okay, all right. In my mind's eye, Kenobi. Kenobi! One man couldn't have done this alone.
Longtime Star Wars fans also know him as Galen Marek, Starkiller from the Force Unleashed video game, who is a now non-canonical apprentice of Darth Vader after Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. He's Legends canon currently since Disney has bought Star Wars, like Starkiller has not become canon again. At least right now, Ahsoka is meant to be the only canonical apprentice that Anakin Skywalker ever had, and so far Darth Vader has had no canonical apprentices since he turned to the dark side. That could always wind up changing.
At some point, someone said, and let's pretend like it was George, right? So here goes.
Yeah. You know what you should do for video games? Is you should a guy who looks like he doesn't just sound like the part, but he looks like the part, and we can use our ILM technology to put him in the game.
We sort of decided that The Apprentice is kind of like a dark Luke Skywalker. This is what would have happened to Luke Skywalker had he joined Vader. This is how Luke would have been trained. This is what Luke would have been like.
Probably not just because they want to hone in on this relationship between Ahsoka, Anakin Skywalker, and her relationship with Anakin when he became Darth Vader. Like, they're focusing on these two particular people. That's what a lot of the Anakin Skywalker cameo scenes are probably going to be specific to on the Ahsoka series, like flashbacks to her remembering Anakin before he became Darth Vader, like during the Clone Wars when she was younger, and then after he became Darth Vader, and the trauma that she experienced with all that in Order 66. But Sam Witwer shows up in cameo scenes all over the place, like all over the Star Wars TV shows, the live-action stuff, even the live-action Star Wars movies, the Star Wars video games they've been doing the last several years. Most of you started noticing this during the Mandalorian episodes, Book of Boba Fett, Andor episodes. He just guest starred in a ton of cameo roles, pretty much all over the place. And a lot of times when he has these cameo scenes doing additional voices or background characters, he doesn't always use his normal speaking voice, so it doesn't always sound like actual Sam Witwer is doing the voice. Really good example of this was during the Book of Boba Fett. He played that Rodian prisoner that Boba Fett talked to, then in episode 4, he was the chef droid.
Gotcha. Do you know who I am?
Neither of those voices sounded like Sam Witwer. Like, nobody spotted him until after the episodes came out and he was posting about it on social media like, hey, did anybody spot me in the episodes? Mark Hamill does stuff like this too. Like, he played the EV-99 droid during The Mandalorian, sounded absolutely nothing like Mark Hamill. Like, nobody would have known it was him unless he posted about it. Sam Witwer's Andor cameo during Andor probably sounded the closest to his normal voice, also his cameo during Rogue One.
You need to calm down, sir. Droid assistance, please.
During Andor, he was the shore trooper who arrests him at the resort. When his name popped up in the credits after Ahsoka Episode 1 and Episode 2, everyone was wondering who he was playing on the show, and there have been a ton of theories. People think that he's going to be the voice of Marok and do the physical appearance when the Inquisitor helmet comes off. So many Marok theories right now, like Marok secretly being a big character. The actor currently doing the physical on-screen performance, like doing all the actual lightsaber fighting, is a stunt actor. They're doing kind of a Mandalorian thing where they have a stunt actor play the physical performance, and they'll probably have somebody else come and do the voice when the helmet comes off. During the Mandalorian episodes, Pedro Pascal just does the voice, and they have other actors underneath the armor in most episodes, unless he needs to take his mask off. But that was a whole big thing the last couple of seasons, is not taking his helmet off. Because of all this Sam Witwer stuff, now I've started seeing theories that Marok is secretly going to be a canonical version of Starkiller, Galen Merrick. I've seen all the Ezra Bridger Marok theories too. Those are all still possible, but here's the thing. If you rewatch the episodes and listen really carefully to all the voices you hear in the episode, like all the background, the lesser voices too, people that are off screen that just have voicing parts, you don't actually see their faces. The HK droids sound a lot like Sam Witwer's voice if it was processed to sound droid-like in Mechanical, the way they do with David Tennant's voice when he does Hu Yang.
The map. Give it to us. Us. Initiate self-destruct protocol.
Remember, he did the Rodian prisoner's voice, and he didn't use his normal-sounding voice for that. There are even some people out there that think that he's just going to be the voice of the Loth cat in both episodes, and he's just making funny cat noises, and that's why he got the secret cameo credit under additional voices. If he starts showing up in the credits for most of the episodes under additional voices, I think that will confirm that he's probably the voice of the HK droids, because Thrawn's HK droids might continue to pop up in most of the episodes. And he also might be voicing other background characters too, not just the HK droids. When it comes to Marok's secret identity, based on everything Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni have said and done when it comes to fan theories, huge deep cuts from the lore like this, usually the truth of these reveals winds up being way simpler than everyone thinks. For example, who saved Grogu at the Jedi Temple during Order 66? A couple years ago when they started teasing this out, I had an awesome theory about Anakin Skywalker and Emperor Palpatine that totally made sense and explained some of the twists later during the original trilogy, but in reality, they just said that it was Kelleran Beck who saved him, Ahmed Best, mostly known as Jar Jar Binks from the prequels. Dave Filoni and the Lucasfilm people thus far have only said officially that Marok was a former Inquisitor, and after the fall of the Empire, after the collapse of the Inquisitorius, he just started working as a mercenary, eventually being hired by Morgan Elsbeth. Lady Elsbeth definitely pays people well. Marok serves under Baylan Skoll, but Baylan isn't his master, and he's not his apprentice. They're just part of the same mercenary team, and Baylan Skoll just happens to be a way more experienced, way more powerful master. I just did an episode 3 trailer video where I explained the Marok Ezra time travel theory, but right now I mostly think Marok will just wind up being a regular Inquisitor, like nobody special like the way people expect. There have even been some Barriss Offee theories out there. I don't think that it's going to wind up being her either. I think it's probably a dude, like a male, and Marok is just a normal Inquisitor. Part of the reasons why I think they're having a former Inquisitor be part of this series and fight Ahsoka so much, like they'll have a rematch during Episode 3 or Episode 4, I think is just to harken back to the way that she got her newer lightsabers. Like she got her twin lightsabers after defeating an Inquisitor and purifying the lightsaber crystals. Just to be clear though, the Inquisitor she defeated to get her new lightsabers was not Marok. That was a completely different Inquisitor. There's some great theories out there, but I don't think any of them right now about Marok are true necessarily. I definitely don't think that he's the canon version of Starkiller, even though that would be super cool. And yes, it is still totally possible that Sam Witwer is playing Marok on screen when the mask comes off. Really waiting for Sam Witwer to actually play like a real big live-action on-screen character, not just these one-off cameo scenes that are always under helmets. A little while ago, he did say that he was hoping for a live-action Starkiller series at some point. That's always possible. I mean, never say never. Dave Filoni is famous for recanonizing Legend stuff. Thrawn is probably the most famous example of that during Rebels. Now we're getting a bunch of Thrawn movies. Like, they'll probably do a trilogy of Thrawn movies if this first one goes well. Gonna pay off that Heir to the Empire trilogy that everybody back in the 90s is gonna go crazy about. I would have never thought, reading those original Thrawn trilogy books in the 90s, that we would get to see movie versions of those. Let me know in the comments, though, who do you think Marrok is really going to wind up being, and what do you think Sam Witwer's cameo scenes have been for him to be included in this credits? Like, it would have to be some background character. There are a bunch of other Ahsoka videos that I'm working on, so I'll post those as soon as possible. My full episode 3 video will post after it airs next week. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. And let me know if you have any special questions about the characters or what's going on, or requests for bonus videos. Click here for my episode 3 video, and click here for all my Ahsoka episode videos. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.